Hi everyone, and welcome back to SwitchUp, and to a video where we're going to go through 10 sales that are what, 50% or less?
Yeah, so this is going to be a sales video or more. Yeah, that's the one. Looking at some of the games obviously on sale at the minute. We've tried to pick games that aren't ending in a day or so to give you a chance obviously to get on there and have a look yourselves. But yeah, they're going to be games that are on sale for 50% or more.
Lovely. Do make sure you save that 10%. I know we say it all the time, but that is genuinely ending in its current form at least at the end of January. So you can use code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg to buy your eShop credit.
Absolutely. Right, which games are on sale? Which ones have we picked? Well, let's find out.
First up then, I have to mention Graveyard Keeper. I absolutely love this game. It reminded a lot of people of Stardew Valley. It's not dissimilar, not entirely,
right.
You know, but it's very different in a lot of ways, especially the theme. You start off being a new graveyard keeper. Your graveyard is a complete state, which is just weird in itself. And then bodies get shipped to you each day.
Right.
You have to perform an autopsy on them, right?
Yep.
And you can remove organs and then sell them.
Oh, okay.
And then you just like throw the body in the river.
So is it like you can choose to do the moral thing or not?
Yeah,
you have that choice.
Can you guess what I did?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what I can see the body floating past as we're talking. It's still got the toe tag on it, mate.
No, I didn't do that. No, I did. And there's a mild element of the whole social side of things, which I know people love in these games. You've got the town there, you can do fishing and bits and bobs.
Okay.
But it's not quite as in depth, I'd say, as Stardew Valley.
A big thank you to Nakana.io for sponsoring this video. Nakana's games are currently on sale on the eShop for as little as 89p, 99 cents.
Let's highlight a couple. We've got Mythic Ocean, which is 93% off, taking it down to essentially 99 cents, or your regional equivalent, until February the 12th. It's a relaxing game where you explore different oceans. It's all tied together with a dialogue-based narrative, and there are lots of interesting characters to meet along the way. Now, this is very highly critically acclaimed as well. It seems to have high reviews from a lot of places, and is a very small 1.3 gigabyte download. And then we've got Please Touch the Artwork, which actually my daughter noticed the other day. It's 88% off. It's the cheapest it's ever been until February the 12th. It's a small puzzle game based around 160 different paintings, and it's around about a 2 to 3 hour long experience that has you manipulate the artwork to solve the puzzles. It has a really simplistic art style, and yeah, it's a really easy one to pick up and play.
So Nakana are a company that specialise in unique indie experiences. Their games all have an average Metacritic score of over 70. Some of the games that they have on the Switch include Journey of the Broken Circle, Lydia, Echo, Infamy,
Soul Searching, Still Stand, A Night at the Races, and Cosmic Top Secret.
Lovely. Yeah, just another big thank you to Nakana for sponsoring this video. Some really quirky games there, to be fair. The first one I'm going to talk about is WRC 9. So this is, I think, the fourth one of these on the Switch now.
Yep.
Or it was the second one to release, to be fair. There are now 4, I should say. Now, these WRC games, visually on the Switch, they do not look good. You know, let's get that out of the way straight away. And that's never really improved. So it doesn't really matter which one you buy on that front. You know, they don't really get any better. But in terms of the gameplay, they run at a solid 30 frames. It does everything, you know, you want a rally game to do, and it does it well. They have like a career mode as well, don't they?
Yeah.
And as long as you can look past that visual element, then you're going to have a lot of fun here. And I don't think, I'm not a rally fan, so maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think maybe the fact this one's a couple of years older is as crucial as it might be in, say, a football game.
Yeah.
So, you know, for 90% off, I think it is at the minute, so you're picking it up for less than £5. If you just want a good rally game, and you can look past, as I say, the visuals, then this is definitely worth looking at. Take that as you will, but if you want a decent rally game for very, very cheap at the minute, then this is certainly worth picking up.
Next up then we've got the game Hellpoint, which is one of my favourite Souls-likes on Switch, which for some reason I always call Hellblade. But it's set in space. It kind of reminds me of going out to the Nostromo or the Event Horizon.
Oh yeah.
It's very horror-based.
Yep.
You know, the creatures you'll face are definitely inspired by Dead Space.
Right, okay.
But it has the Souls-like combat. Now, interestingly, there's a physical of this as well, which is usually crazy cheap. I've just seen now it's like a tenner.
Yep, I own it. Yep.
You own it?
And it's very. I think I bought it for a tenner. Yeah. I think
Wow.
Right.
Is it on the cartridge? Do you know?
I haven't played it, so I can't confirm that. I'm afraid. Sorry.
Fair enough. But the actual game itself, it launched again as always in a terrible state.
Yeah.
It's seen loads of patches. It's not perfect, but it's much better than it was. And if you're a Souls fan and kind of avoided this one because it was so pony when it started, like it's decent now. And what I didn't realise is there's actually online co-op, which is, and I think it's normal co-op. Like sometimes you have co-op in Souls games where people just like randomly show up and stuff like that.
Right.
Someone's going to correct me in the comments, so maybe in the comments, someone let me know how does the co-op work in this one.
Okay.
Because I can't be handling any more obscure co-op action. You know, it's ridiculous. It's like go to this tree, hold a leaf up, and then someone might rock up. No.
Okay.
Just give me a screen with a lobby. I want to play.
Yeah, I think that's a fair request, to be honest. Okay. All right, next one then. We've got Panzer Dragoon, the remake. Now, this was handled by Forever Entertainment, who have done a couple of these now for Sega, of course, with their most recent being the House of the Dead remake that they did. Now, in terms of this game in particular, when it released, similar to what you just said actually about the last game, there were issues.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as it should have been, you know, and it has been patched up a fair bit since then. The last time I played it, which was a while ago, it was much better, and I've heard people say since then it's been improved further still.
Yeah.
So on that front, and for its current sale price of 90% off, which goes on for a couple of weeks yet, or about 10 days. Yeah, I think, you know, if you've been on the fence about this one, this is now the time to jump off of said fence and pick up the game. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
All right, next up then we've got The Amazing American Circus, which is a slightly interesting take on a roguelite where you're trying to impress the audience. So you're putting together your troupe. Is that what it's called? A troupe? Circus troupe?
I believe so. I'm not a big circus person, I've got to be honest. The only clown I ever saw was Pennywise, and that was enough for that.
There you go, revelation of the day. He's not a big circus person. But you put together your troupe and your acts, and the battles are essentially you fighting against the audience to impress them.
Oh, right, okay, that's cool, yeah.
Yeah. So like they'll be like sat there like, ooh, and then you do your juggling acts and they'll be like,
okay,
you know, and you'll defeat their expectations.
The negativity or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Beat back the negativity. Now there are loads of different types of cards. It does have a card-based mechanic. I know some people like that, but your acts and things like that and power-ups are through cards. But there are I think there's 15 different circus acts that you can get on board.
Right.
And it does have a very similar premise to a lot of these types of games like Slay the Spire.
Yep.
But just with a different set of makeup on, you know.
Yeah, different sheen on the front.
Different sheen on the front. And in the EU it ends on January 25th, but in the Americas you're going to have to be very fast. You've got about a day.
Okay, lovely. Right. Next one then is a game called Party Hard, which we played a while ago. It's It's a very strange idea, this one, isn't it? So you're basically a man whose neighbours are having a party. You've been woken up, you've got the ump, so you decide to go next door and massacre everyone.
Yeah.
And it's basically about how you do the massacring, I guess, isn't it? You know, it's
how you do the massacring. You're right. Yeah, no, this is one I think I reviewed back in the day.
I think you did. I'm sure you did, actually, yeah.
And it had that kind of top-down isometric view. It almost reminded me, in a weird way, of a Hitman game.
Yeah, exactly right. It's like as you say, top-down, pixelated Hitman game, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got free reign to kind of wander around the party doing things you probably shouldn't do. And eventually it all ends up in chaos and people go running and screaming. Sometimes you get like third parties come and rock up at the party to stop you and stuff like that.
That's right. And the sequel is actually on sale at the moment as well. I haven't played that one, so I can't recommend it. But if it's anything like the first game, it will be a decent game, that's for sure. Didn't you say this one had multiplayer or co-op?
Yeah, this adds in co-op, but it's also, I think they just changed the art style. It looks a bit prettier, you know. Okay. It's 3D now rather than that fixed isometric.
Yes, yeah.
And they're good games.
They are good. They're a lot of fun. You know, if you can get on board with the premise and you don't mind being, doing naughty things in the game sometimes, then you'll have fun with this one.
Next up then, we've got an interesting mix of adventure, action and horror. And it was one of the earliest reviews I did on the channel. It's a game called The Final Station. Now, I know this does go on sale a lot, and I do see it mentioned occasionally. But I think it's well worth it. It's currently at its cheapest, again matching its lowest ever price, 75% off until February the 1st. And it's an interesting one whereby you have to travel along on this train. There's a zombie outbreak going on in the city, and you'll have to make different stops through these 5 chapters, going on small runs.
Right.
It's very creepy, despite having that pixel art style. I'll try and show you a screenshot. But that looks lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's like a dystopian future by the looks, is it?
Yes, very much so. Very much. Dystopian future, you stop, you've got like shotgun, it's almost like twin sticks, so you use the right stick to aim, shoot heads off and things like that.
Okay, yeah.
And it's got that interesting like low poly pixel art style.
Yes. So for looting and stuff, I guess.
For looting, yeah, exactly. You'll need that to keep the train running.
I see, I'm with you, yep.
But it's really nice, very cheap little pickup, small download, and one I would definitely recommend.
Nice. Okay, the next one, again, came out very early into the Switch's life, possibly even earlier than the one you just mentioned. It's a game called Mr. Shifty.
Oh, yeah, I
remember this one, don't you?
Yeah.
So you actually bought this one, and I played it on your Switch. But it's one of those games where it's all about kind of being, again, you're making your way through a building and you're killing people, but it's all about finesse, isn't it? And stealth and speed and doing all those things and getting through people before they even know that you are there.
Yep.
Doesn't it have a mechanic where you can smash them through glass or throw them out of a window?
Yeah,
as well?
it does. What game is that like? I'm trying to remember what that's like. There was another one. Oh, it's just completely gone. But yeah, it does have that very slick kind of top down as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me. It's different. Don't get me wrong, but it reminds me, at least in premise, of Hotline Miami.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Exactly. So obviously that's a bit more. There's not a lot of grace in that game, although you still have to be quite stealthy. But this is more about that finesse, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it looks really good, this one. And how much is it? What's the discount?
It is currently going for 75% off.
Nice, lovely, until February the 1st.
Yes, that's the one.
All right, so I believe, penultimate one before you do your last one, is Braveland Trilogy. Now, I was telling Glenn before this video, there is actually a SwitchUp review of this that was written by Chicken Perm. What are these names? We're not making this up, honest.
No, I know.
He really enjoyed it, but for some reason we had no time to make it. It's like almost like a tactical turn-based combat on a grid.
Yep.
There is a story, but you're progressing through several maps. Now, he enjoyed it. It's not the best, and some of the art's a bit how would you describe it?
A bit mobile-y.
Yes.
But that old mobile it's a bit,
And I think it probably was on mobile, to be honest.
Yeah, mobile games have obviously progressed, but it has that classic, if I were to look like a mobile game, I'd look like this. Do you know
exactly
what I mean?
right. But I know he enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of gameplay there. It's a huge game. And for the price that they ask, and it's another one that does go on sale a lot, so maybe watch a few reviews and see what you think.
Yep.
But at the moment, 80% off. I'd say it's a bit of a Barjan, really.
Nice, okay. Right, my last one, I believe, if I've been counting properly, is Die for Valhalla, which is a really good beat-em-up. Now, there are lots of beat-em-ups on the Switch. One of the ones that might have passed you by is most certainly this game.
Yeah.
And we played this one in co-op.
Yep.
And we had a real good time playing this, didn't we? You've got that element of kind of leveling up and being able to gain new skills. Obviously got that Viking setting as well. I believe there were different classes that you could choose from. 7 different classes, there we go. It's just a very well crafted beat 'em up. I would say it's probably most similar, or kind of similar to something like Castle Crashers.
Yes.
If I was to compare it to one that's maybe better known. But this is, again, for the price it's going for at the minute, this is 80% off. You've got about a week-ish to get this one if you're interested. This is a really fun game. Like, I cannot stress that enough. If you've got someone, especially if you've got someone to play with, really is a great deal of fun.
Yeah, it takes those kind of RPG elements as well, doesn't it? So, like you say, leveling up skills, choices in terms of where you go next. It's decent, this.
Yeah, it is. It's a good game. A bit, again, just to throw another name in there, a bit like Scott Pilgrim with that RPG-esque, leveling up system.
Very much so, actually.
Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, if you haven't heard of this one and you're looking for a good beat 'em up, this is most certainly it.
Brilliant. So that takes us to the end of this video. Do make sure you get your 10% discount using code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg. And yeah,
exactly right. There's also a link down there to Play Asia if you're looking to import any games. You can get yourself 5% off of your order from there. Use the link down below, use the code stated, which does change, so I won't say it in case obviously it changes, but it's down there at the minute. Use that code and you can get yourself 5% off.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for watching, to our Patreons and members. And for all things Switch all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!